factor so important.
Yeah, Maddie Burke, super confident, 18 points, made 5 threes yesterday in the quarterfinal.
Denise Dillon in year 5 at the helm, played for Harry Peretta. She's Villanova through and through. And on the other side, Gino Auriemma, the Hall of Famer, college basketball's all-time wins leader. Kim, you talked about Sarah Strong's presence. He told us yesterday that she has some Diana Taurasi to her game. That is some serious high praise. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I mean, he is just so proud of how she has taken on this freshman season. He believes she is a matchup problem for any team in the country, not just in this Big East tournament. And she has been so impressive how she really impacts every aspect of the game for this UConn team.
Paige Beckers, a 20-point showing yesterday, the 15th of her season, 61st of her career. AZ Fudd, so key to what the Huskies' ceiling is. Karen Prado, Katie Lukanich, Jeff Smith, our officials. We're ready to go for a loaded semifinal Sunday at the Big East tournament.
Down on offense, yet UConn didn't have a bad game in that department. They shot 45%. And if you go back and listen, he said, we're going to go back and watch the film and be surprised how we won that game.
Danae Carter driving. Yes, it bears noting the Huskies lead the country with a plus 30 scoring margin. But that's part of the Auriemma greatness. He's never pleased. Strong couldn't hit, tapped around and into the hands of Bosco. Jasmine Bosco, the Villanova freshman. She's from Ontario. She scored 22 points yesterday, 10 rebounds as well. First career double-double in a postseason debut. Burke trying to slide in. It's off Chen with 5 on the shot clock.
Yeah, Caitlin Chen really overplaying Burke on the perimeter because of how good she shot the ball. As we look back at Sarah Strong coming up with the offensive rebound. An easy one for Jana El-Alfi just with that inside position on a couple of Villanova defenders.
Now with 5 on the shot clock, Laura Edmondson with 3 has to hoist into the hands of Chen. And a foul on Edmondson, rather on Burke, as Beckers was trying to post her up.
Transition defense has to be so crucial against this UConn team. Villanova did a solid job of getting back, but Paige Beckers just keeping that dribble alive, able to draw the foul. Her way back from that injury. It was really the South Carolina game that set things over the top for her.
As Weber answers, and you called it because that was a 28-point game against South Carolina. Had struggled in the 2 weeks after that, but then bounced back against Marquette on senior day last Sunday as Beckers connects. And that's just it, Kim. When this duo is playing at this level, where do you put UConn in the top of the national charts?
Yeah, I mean, I said it yesterday. I think right now, this is a UConn team that is playing like a Final Four national championship contending team with how much depth they have. 2 All-American level players in Sarah Strong and Paige Beckers. And this is where she thrived yesterday, that mid-range area. That time just attacking the closeout. 1 dribble pull-up. She's so fundamental with that mid-range shot.
Gino Auriemma said that's what gives us the ability to win championships with this team. Bosco long. He said our shot making. Huskies are best in the country at 51% from the floor per game. Down to 10 for Weber. It's at 7 in the hands of Bosco, the freshman. One of the best freshmen in college basketball is long, and here comes Chen. Beckers, where she is so dangerous.
We talk about where can this UConn team end up over the next couple weeks. It's going to start with that young lady, Paige Beckers, really being aggressive and leading the charge. We're seeing it here for us. I mean, right now it looks like Paige Beckers is just in an individual workout, running up and down. She's got free reign. Villanova has to send her some more attention in transition.
Kim, you can just tell. We talked about it yesterday, that number 5 has that mission on her mind. The find to El Alfie. She'll have 2 free throws after our first timeout. Well, she went into the Huskies of Honor last Sunday. Paige Beck.
Now the second game in a row. Extremely aggressive from the jump. And she knows for this UConn team to reach their highest potential, it's going to start with her playing this way.
Jana Alfie steps to the line. Allison Williams was in the Villanova huddle. What did you hear?
Yeah, Denise Dillon telling her team they have to play with more pace on the offensive end, continuing to move and share the ball. She said, we only had 4 shots under 10 seconds. That is not what we want. You need to slow it down and be patient here on the offensive end. Let's see if they can do that.
Thanks, Allison. Yeah, it's an interesting dichotomy when you play UConn, because Denise Dillon told us before the game, I don't want this to become a track meet, because that will get out of hand, but you still want to be moving the ball and playing with some rhythm to your offense.
A foul called on Paige Beckers. The fans expressed their opinions on that. Well, that's just it, Kim, is we talked with Joe Tartamella about this yesterday, the St. John's head coach, who actually handed UConn their last loss to a Big East opponent, and he said so much of playing UConn is psychological at the beginning of the game. You can't play with fear.
No, you have to go out and attack it, and that's one way to do it. Janae Carter, strong take off the baseline out of bounds.
Janae Carter, a junior from Philadelphia, was at Mississippi State, wanted to come home. Beckers looking for Strong. Strong finding a cutting KK Arnold to the corner, Ashlyn Shade. And a rebound to Ryan Allen. Weber with a little stop and go. That was pretty from Maddie Weber.
And there's the response for Villanova. Denise Dillon looking for some pace, looking for some bounce, and Maddie Weber, just nice hesitation to the rim.
Sarah Strong. Villanova has strung together some stops.
Jasmine Bosco, she's not afraid of this moment. Denise Dillon said she really attacks every game the same. She just loves to get out there and play. Villanova has gotten some energy on the defensive end. Maddie Weber, the sophomore. Nice hesitation, right to left crossover, and then this is the highly touted freshman that we mentioned, Jasmine Bosco, dials it up from the top of the arc.
Beckers contested and still connects. It breaks up a 7-0 Nova surge.
Yeah, Paige Beckers, we talked about her efficiency, her diversity. She's shooting just under 40% from deep this season. Very close to a 50-40-90 line for her. She's an 89% free throw shooter.
Now a turnover. Exactly what Denise Dillon said they have to avoid. Sarah Strong can't hit, but she picks up her own miss and scores her first points.
Incredible to watch that sequence and realize that that is a freshman. I mean, she plays with just such a good feel for the game. She's so strong. She's physically ready for this level.
Second on the team with 16 and 8 per game. When you're a freshman at UConn and you're second to Paige Beckers, what else do we have to say? Weber, the sophomore, has come to play.
Yeah, Weber giving them a nice burst of energy the last couple of trips down the floor, an all Big East second team member.
As a sophomore, with Bosco a first teamer, the point, Ken, the present and future are bright at Villanova. AZ Fudd is off. Bosco with a muscle board.
Yeah, how about that rebound? 5'7", just getting up there in the trees.
Burke can't hit, but Bosco used her elusive ability to just make that happen. Now Beckers driving on Bosco. How about the freshman saying, I'm not afraid of you? She is fearless.
She is really fun to watch play. I'm glad she's getting this national showcase for more people to get familiar with her game. The Ontario native.
12 on the shot clock. This is Weber. To the corner, a three. It's short. Battle for it. Offensive board for Villanova. Carter's off. Taking a tumble to the deck. A lot of contact. Possession arrow with Villanova with 15 seconds on the shot clock and 15.8 in the quarter.
This is a great possession for Villanova because Denise Dillon identified rebounding has been an Achilles heel for them, not just in this matchup, but all season long. They're able to secure a few extra offensive rebounds, but now can they capitalize? Interesting to see if Denise Dillon wants them to run this down for one shot here, which you typically wouldn't do on a baseline out of bounds. Looks like she does want them to get that last shot of the quarter.
They were down 16-8. They've responded with 5. Weber all the way. Maddie Weber already has 11. KK Arnold from half court. How about the Villanova Wild?
A strong stepping through, ready to make the pass, and then advancing it, right? Okay, defensively, as we talk, contest, being long in help. Okay, you're out here 12, but don't make yourself small. Be long. So on the dig, you can dig and then recover out the play, right?
So some defensive details there from Denise Dillon, reminding her players to be big with active hands when you're waiting and help. Maybe pick up a deflection. She mentions a dig there. That means a player from the wing is going to drop down and give a little bit of a double team at the post player, try to snatch the ball away. But she has to like this response from her team, especially on the glass, John. They already have 5 offensive rebounds.
AZ Fudd keeps rolling.
AZ Fudd has been really good at using that screen and just curling around, because you have to respect her as a three-point shooter, and she gets the defender chasing behind. She's found openings. Villanova's going to have to adjust the way they're playing that screen.
Villanova made 3 triples in the first quarter. Bosco. Long. Battle for the rebound. This time the foul is on Edmondson. Well, look, when we talk about Denise Dillon, she's Philadelphia through and through. All Big East star back at her playing days from 93 to 96. 1,355 career points, close to 700 boards. Kim, she had game in the Big Five.
She really did, and she told us she was being recruited all around, all over the country, but really wanted to stick with her Philly roots. And before coming back to coach at Villanova, she was at Drexel University. A lot of Philly love.
UConn assistant Chris Daly told Allison Williams she had Denise on her recruiting list, as Maddie Burke knocks down the jumper. Caitlin Chang with a crossover. Nice delivery to Sarah Strong.
Villanova thinks AZ Fudd may have gotten away with a moving. Coming into the Big East tournament, she had 2 points in the 2 prior games, and she has been on a heater offensively.
It's an offensive foul, an illegal screen back to Villanova. Allison Williams was listening to Gino Auriemma's huddle. Allison, what did you hear?
Yeah, John, he was brief and very direct with his team during the last timeout and really challenging them on the defensive end. He said all of their players, every single one, is able to put the ball on the floor and get by you. They're getting layups and open threes. That's unacceptable. You have to keep them in front of you.
Yeah, this is a confident Villanova offense right now that has really found a rhythm in the Big East tournament. They had been struggling in terms of efficiency heading into it, but somehow they have really pulled it together here to start off this tournament.
UConn allows just 51.8 points per game, 4th best in the country. Burke can't hit this time, but Bosco pursued the ball and laid it in. Villanova leads.
Jasmine Bosco just plays the game with such a high motor, and that was just determination. One of the smallest players on the floor. That's got to infuriate Gino Auriemma after hearing that report.
Foul on Burke. It was up in the grill of Fudd, but Coach Dillon is smiling. Her team is playing with passion.
They have really just come out strong in all areas. Defense were the two areas she struck as the most important. They've been really good, and then the offense is just humming right now, led by the freshman point guard Jasmine Bosco, getting them into a really nice pace and rhythm.
They entered this tournament winning 4 of 6. Beckers slides in. Paige Beckers has 11. Kim, you would never know it's Jasmine Bosco's first postseason. That's a jump ball forced by Shea. Arrow with Villanova.
Yeah, both her and Sarah Strong, as we said, coming off the top. So much poise, such a maturity. Good double team there for UConn. Ashlyn Shea getting her hands on the ball. They've got to continue to show this talented freshman a lot of ball pressure, try to frustrate her a little bit.
Edmondson, that was executed to perfection.
Solid screening. Edmondson came from the corner. Gino Oriema got his hands up. How did we not play that well? She came off 2 screens. Nobody from UConn notices to switch or help.
When we talk about the psychological dimension of playing Connecticut, Villanova, the players might be a bit different, but they met this program in the Big East Championship game in 2022 and 23. These two programs...
Big time shot for Brady because Villanova was centered on Paige Beckers. They had switched the screen. Nobody really paid much attention to Brady. And she dials up that pick and pop.
Weber. And we got a tangle up on the rebound. Weber also thought that somebody got a piece of that shot. It's on Connecticut.
And let's revisit this baseline out of bounds execution. And the frame before that, Edmondson would start in that left corner, come right off of that screen, shoulder to shoulder, and nobody on UConn recognizes or switches. Some good practices as of late. Who can be an X factor for you in the Big East tournament? And she said Ryan Allen.
Just her 14-3 of the entire season. Beckers is automatic. She's got 13 on 6 of 9.
The defensive focus has picked up on Paige Beckers in terms of how they're defending her off of screens, but she's just staying aggressive, finding different ways to attack, which she does so well.
Edmondson long, rebound to Brady. UConn able to put a stop together after Villanova was 5 for their last 7. Beckers, Paige Mania at Mohegan, and she's talking after it.
Yes, she is. She's fired up. They gave her 2 screens to choose from, one on the right, one on the left. The defense got confused. They dropped back, and Paige Beckers hits the bottom of the net from 3.
16 points already. 7 of 10 from the floor. Number 5 is locked in. 10 on the shot clock. Green with 6. It's Allen to Edmondson. Here comes Beckers. She is feeling it right now. Paige Beckers stops on a dime. Folks. Folks, put the sounder on. Because she is having that type of game right now. 18.
This is as passionate as I've seen her in a while in terms of the reaction she's giving after these buckets.
On 8 of 11, Kim. Bud tried to track it down, and it'll stay with Villanova after this timeout. Sum it up, K.A.
Paige Buckets Beckers is already up to 18 points in his first half. She gets 2 screens. The defenders step back. She drains it. Paige Beckers. Talk. This is the elevator screen, John, where 2 players are closing like elevator doors. The defender can't get through, and Azifa drains it from the corner. She has 7 points already. It's a 7-0 run for the UConn Huskies, much in part to Paige Beckers, who is just on one to start this game.
You said that type of film study as Weber catches it inside, can't finish. Carter is there on the putback, is so good with do they run over Gino Auriemma's 40-year coaching career?
Yeah, I mean, they execute offensively as well as any team in the country. And an important response there from Villanova, John, because as good as Paige Beckers is right now, Villanova is still very much right in this game. So I think that was a good timeout for Villanova to regroup a little bit, but Sarah Strong gets an ISO inside, just too much Strong.
6 and 5 boards with a couple assists for Sarah Strong. Carter not known for her shooting. They played off her. She was out of control. Villanova, though, only 1 turnover. They doubled Brady, and they forced the giveaway. UConn's 3rd turnover. You don't see UConn committing more turnovers than their opponent. Rarely, if ever.
Yeah, Villanova switching up some different defensive looks to try to keep UConn on their toes a little bit.
Carter in no man's land. Found a way to muscle that in still.
Really impressive. She had picked up her dribble. There was really no release for her on the perimeter. And she just spins back to that opposite side. Strong finish over Brady.
8 points in the entire game yesterday. She's already up to 6. Beckers took some contact. Beckers has 18. A spin move. And won her 16th 20-point game of the year.
I mean, this is why Paige Beckers is one of the best players in the country, because Villanova could not have defended that better. They switched the screen, and then here's Villanova picking up defensive intensity. Maddie Weber coming to double from the backside of that post, keeps the ball alive, and eventually they get to Danae Carter, who had a really impressive finish on Ice Brady.
Chen and KK Arnold come back in, and Villanova goes, or rather UConn goes smaller here. Kim, 9 of 12 from the floor. We saw her score 20 altogether yesterday. She's already at 21.
Yeah, so we came on the air, and I said the 2 most impressive things for me, for Paige this season: efficiency, reading the defense. She's doing both of those things to a T. She's so hard to stop right now because her IQ level at reading the defense and how they're playing each action is at an incredibly high level.
Weber is fouled by Chen.
And here's this one where Villanova couldn't have defended this any better. They had a really good switch. They put Ryan Allen, who has size and length, on Paige, but she spins back the other way. She fades away, and she gets the foul in the process. 21 points were still in the first half.
As good as anybody in the land. Weber stop. KK Arnold cut it off. Gino Auriemma says she's our Energizer bunny and takes a foul, a hard one.
Yeah, KK Arnold is a gift that Gino Auriemma has waiting on his bench to enter the game and bring an instant boost of energy. KK Arnold so good with the quickness, getting into passing lanes, and then taking a hard hit there. Get herself to the line.
It'll be interesting to hear what Gino Auriemma has to say at this break.
He never looks happy. He never looks happy.
But what did he tell us? Defense and rebounding. And look, not that he's ever really happy. Is Arnold a rare miss for a 76% free throw shooter? But he did say, if you don't defend and rebound in March, what have you done for the previous 6 months to get here?
Yeah, I mean, he said it may seem cliche, but he said there are going to be nights at this time of year where the ball doesn't go in the basket. And can you rely on your defense to win you a game? That's what he thought yesterday, even though they did shoot about 45%. He didn't think it was that great offensively.
Oh my goodness, Jasmine Bosco.
She is a talent. The young freshman from Ontario, Canada. putting the ball on that left side, sneaking through elite defenders in Paige Beckers, KK Arnold, Sarah Strong. Those are three of the best defenders in the country. And she finds a way to snake through them all and get the N1 opportunity.
Paige Beckers already with 21. Short, Strong is fouled.
Sarah Strong just has a size and strength advantage in the post right now amongst the lineup that Villanova has out there. And I feel like she's even rebounding at a higher level now, John. She had the double-double yesterday, matching a career-high 14 on the glass. She's up to averaging 8 on the season.
Sarah, born in Madrid, Spain. Both her parents, Allison Feaster, WNBA great, and Danny, her dad, were playing pro ball internationally. Just amazing rise to becoming the #1 recruit in her high school senior class. Two-time North Carolina Miss Basketball as well. What a freshman year as we hit the final minute of this first half. Villanova has fought. Bosco is off. And it will stay with the Wildcats. What have you been impressed most with in regards to Villanova, a 5 seed in this tournament, giving UConn all this fight?
Yeah, well, one, just the confidence and poise they're playing with, led by a freshman and a sophomore. And two, their offense has been really good. They've been running great actions. They're setting up for good looks, and that's what Denise Dillon has shifted for her team coming into this tournament. The ball movement, the spacing, and knocking down of open looks.
They've shot 50% in the second quarter. Shot clock at 1. They're going to run out of time. It's a violation.
And that's frustrating for Coach Dillon. You've been knocking on the door all half. You want to finish with some good final possessions here. They could get it back here depending on what happens.
Coming up on the Jeep Halftime Report with Allison Williams and Ashley Battle with stats and analysis and a preview of semifinal game number 2 between Creighton and Seton Hall. Shot clock at 12. More than 4-second difference between shot and game. Beckers with 5. She has 21 in the first half. Paige Beckers was doubled. Kicks it. Ashlyn Shade is off. Battle for the rebound. Sarah Strong is strong. Officials are going to check on the clock.
Interesting sequence. It is very loud in here, so I think some players thought the play was dead. I think some players thought the game clock was expired, but who was completely aware? The freshman, Sarah Strong, knowing that the ball was still in play and she could put it back.
So the clock stopped when it should not have stopped on the made basket. Should have kept running. Karen Prado, Katie Lukanich, Jeff Smith, our crew. That's what Jeff Smith just told us.
And we looking at a couple things here. So Ashlyn Shade gets the shot off in time. It's off her hand. So this ball is still in play. The awareness from Strong is incredible. She lays it back in, and then the officials are saying here the clock should have kept running. It likely should have expired and the half should be over. But the clock was incorrectly stopped once Sarah Strong's putback went in. So I would imagine they may just blow the half dead here, but we'll see what they come up with. Yeah, end of the quarter.
That's the end of the first half.
After review,
what a momentum
the
swing
clock
there
stopped at
Strong.
1.9. 3 seconds continued. We're at 1.7. Game quarter is over.
So UConn, because she was in halftime, she also caught up with Gino Auriemma. What'd he tell you?
Got to hustle out here, John. And Gino repeating at the half what we heard him say earlier in the game. And it starts on the defensive end for UConn. He said, we have not been keeping them in front of us. We have to do a better job there defensively. And we got to get after it on the boards. They're even in that first half. He said, we have to rebound, especially in the defensive end, so we can get out in transition.
Thank you, Allison. Rebounds even at 17. Sarah Strong off on the three, and it's Maddie Weber with the rebound. Kim, what must Villanova continue?
Well, their offense really was working well in that first half, so they want to stick to their principles, good spacing, good ball movement. Their two stars have been big. Maddie Burke now back on the floor. She had missed some time with 2 fouls, so let's see if they can get her back involved from 3. She looks ready to go.
Danae Carter, a crossover. It's long. And rebound to El Alfie.
And an early adjustment here for Villanova. They now appear to be face guarding Paige Beckers, but that leaves Sarah Strong wide open, way too easy for Sarah Strong, who I believe that getting her own miss should give her a double-double already in this game. It does, 12 points and 10 rebounds.
For her 8th double-double of the year. That's just it, Kim. If you make it that hard for Beckers or try to take her out, it's not as if they don't have others. They only have AZ Fudd, Sarah Strong and company. Open 3 for Nova is short. Strong with the rebound. Can that be dangerous when you try to do that to that point?
Yeah, well, I think right now you prioritize Beckers and Strong. You keep a really strong watch on Fudd and try to make the other 2 players on the floor take the shots.
It'll send Fudd to the free throw line. Foul on Green. So it's AZ Fudd back at the line, and she has the big decision to make off of the Big East tournament. Players typically get 48-hour window after the conclusion of their season to make it known whether they're going to go into the WNBA draft or stay in college. Gino Auriemma gave Fudd the deadline of, okay, following the Big East tournament, I need a decision from you. The problem, he said, is that AZ can't decide on what she's going to have for breakfast.
I mean, that is as big of a decision as you could make in life. I wonder if he's really going to stand firm on that deadline or if he'll give her some extra time, because I'm sure he wants her to stay focused on playing really well in the games ahead. Or maybe she's going to come to a decision. Who knows?
We shall see. 10 on the shot clock. All in the transfer portal climate of the sport as well, if he has to replace her. 5 on the shot clock. It's Bosco. She turned it over. That's just the 4th Villanova giveaway.
Yeah, they're giving Bosco a lot of pressure. It was AZ Fudd primarily, and then they sent her 2 or 3 bodies.
Strong, fell out, and she was cut off the top.
And I looked immediately to Gino Auriemma there, because yesterday in his postgame, he said Sarah Strong is one of the best passers we've ever had, but I don't want her to pass. I think he wanted her to take that shot. He wants her to be selfish. I'm sure he'd be happy with her shooting every time she touches it.
Fudd long on the 3. But Kim, that's also the nature of this team. It's in their DNA to be unselfish. Edmondson tries and is long. And a foul from behind on Burke. She's frustrated.
Very frustrating, because that's her 3rd foul. She's going to probably have to exit the game. She's obviously been one of their most capable scorers in this early Big East tournament. That's a really tough 3rd call. Clearly, she just lost her balance a little bit. 2 players going after a rebound. That's a tough one to put one of the best scorers back on the bench.
Well, Villanova can't get out of their way right now. They've committed 4 fouls. The next one is going to send UConn to the line, and we're not even 3 minutes into the 3rd quarter. Burke so instrumental to this run. Backdoor left open. Strong glides in. Sarah Strong has 14 and 12.
Beautiful connection between Beckers and Strong. Strong just coming off of a screen across the lane, and Beckers finding her right in stride. Shoulder to shoulder. is such a detail that is often forgotten about by players, and you see it right there from Sarah Strong. When you do that, it completely opens her up on that cut across the lane, and Paige Beckers gets it perfectly to her.
Allison has more.
Guys, that's just such a great example of what Paige Becker said about playing with Sarah Strong. She said, it's just easy. She can do everything. She can defend, she can score, rebound. She knows the game so extremely well that when you put the two of us into an action, it's usually a high efficiency play because she can read the game so well. The only thing that she's bummed about, she said, it just makes me sad I only get 1 year with her, so I'm really trying to just embrace it and enjoy as much as possible because she is just so easy to play with.
Yeah, the two of them have some of the highest IQs we have ever seen, and it's incredible to think that Sarah Strong, just a freshman. Ooh, Alalfi, that was a nice setup, but good help defense from Nova.
Well, and Allison's point is so true because Gina Oriema said when a freshman comes into my program, I have one of two scenarios. Either one, I know they can handle everything, or two, we've got a lot of teaching to do. He goes, with Sarah Strong, I knew it right when I got her. She had that UConn it factor. Shot clock down to 2. A jump ball belongs with Villanova. Just a presence, Kim, for a freshman to think that she's at the age of 19 and doing what she's doing. It's not normal.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to summarize and encapsulate just how she is on the floor because a lot of it is stuff that doesn't show up in stats and on the box score. It's just an innate feel for the game that she has.
Bosco. Strong with the rebound. That's her 13th.
Villanova still searching for the first points of this second half after a really strong first.
And Chen is now fouled. 6 straight for the Huskies. Chen can try to make it 8. Jasmine Bosco commits her 3rd foul. And so here's Caitlin Chen. We talk about all the main pieces of this UConn team, and Gina Oriema said last week on Senior Day, we're not where we are without Caitlin Chen. Princeton transfer who has such a feel for the game herself at the point guard spot.
Yeah, he's speaking very highly of her. He said after the game yesterday, he believes her WNBA draft stock is really rising, and he really credits what she brings on the defensive end, and we're about to see it right here. He said, we're able to full court pressure more than we have in the last couple of years because of what Caitlin Chen can give us in the backcourt with her and KK Arnold, Paige, Ashlyn Shea. They have the depth and personnel to full court press this year. We haven't seen that in a lot recently.
Villanova broke it pretty well, still without a bucket. In this 3rd quarter, it's Strong takes a hard hit from behind on Bosco. That's Jasmine Bosco's 4th foul.
So when Caitlin Chen was shooting that free throw, Denise Dillon pulled her freshman aside and had a long chat with her, and I would assume it was about being smart on fouls. And this is just a tough one where she's trying to make a play, trying to make something good happen, but ends up in the wrong place at the wrong time. And that's a huge moment of this game as Jasmine Bosco is going to have to head to the bench with still a quarter and a half left to play in this one.
Ryan Allen is heading to the back, limping. Bosco with the 4 fouls, and Strong back to the free throw line. Off on the first, she is 74% free throw shooter. 14 rebounds yesterday, that matched her career high. 14 today. So she is 1 shy of a new career best.
She may end up averaging a double-double by the time this season is said and done. She's brought it up to about 8 at this point of the season, but it just seems like there's a different determination about her when it comes to rebounding as of late.
She's just the 5th UConn freshman to score 500 points in a season. Turnover forced by Chen. There's that burst from Caitlin Chen. Chen! Bingo!
Paige Beckers had her eyes up, surveying the floor. Sarah Strong actually opened up that 3 by sending a hard cut to the rim. That drew the attention of the defense. And of course, Caitlin Chen knocking it down.
You think Gino Auriemma told his team about defense at halftime? It's 12-0 Huskies in the third. Shot clock at 5. We have a timeout. Sarah Strong
was previously head coach here of the Connecticut Sun, but they certainly, there's a certain prospect on the floor that's looking pretty good so far in Paige Beckers, although she's yet to score here in the second half after a really aggressive first half. Still sitting on 21 points and 5 assists, but she's viewed as, by many, going to be that #1 pick in a couple of months.
One of this timeout, 5 on the shot clock for Villanova. They haven't scored in the third quarter. Burke can't hit. Carter is fouled.
Villanova really needs just some confidence buckets right now to feel back in a good place in this game. They're in a little bit of an uphill climb because there's sensational freshman point guard Jasmine Bosco on the bench with 4 fouls. Maddie Burke has 3. She is out there, which I think is smart for Denise Dillon to keep some offense on the floor.
Danae Carter back to the line. That's the issue for Villanova. Jasmine Bosco, their leader, an All-Big East first teamer with 4 fouls. Carter has 8. This is semifinal #1 of the Big East tournament. We'll hand another final ticket. Tomorrow's championship game out in our next game. Creighton and Seton Hall. That'll be right here on Fox. But attacking stuff by Carter.
Good recovery. She got beat early, but quick on the recovery.
Brady hit a 3 in the first half. Ashlyn Shade, the Big East 6th Woman of the Year.
And that's just another scenario of UConn using screens exceptionally well. Ashlyn Shade curls over the top of it. Both defenders don't communicate. They stick with the screener, and Ashlyn Shade walks in for a layup.
Goes back to your point, Kim. UConn has 7 players who have the caliber of starting for this team. Foul away from the ball on Shade. It's what Gino Auriemma glowed to us about yesterday.
We're gonna look at this. Oof, that is a tough ankle turn from Caitlin Chen. As we just saw her tightening up the laces, she's gonna try to keep out there. But that, her ankle almost hit the deck.
Weber, that's a difficult shot. It's short. Connecticut has held Villanova to 2 points in this third quarter.
Yeah, Villanova's offense was so good in the first half, but it has been all Huskies here.
Beckers and Chen play the 2-woman game. It's short. Carter with the rebound. And the Cats find something down there. Leader Bosco with the foul trouble on the bench.
Look at the defense from Chen on Maddie Weber.
Look, it seems small, but that sums up this program and what Gino Auriemma brought her in for.
Without a doubt. I mean, a lot of people question some things sometimes. Should Paige be playing more point guard? But they're not keeping in mind the other side of the floor where Caitlin Chen is an extremely good ball pressure.
As Strong checks back in. 15 and 14 for Sarah Strong. Her next rebound gives her a new career high. Weber and a turnover. Just the 6th by Villanova. But they have been cold in this third quarter.
UConn has come out really strong in the half-court defense. I'm sure they got an earful from their head coach. Villanova just trying to make something happen without the orchestrator of their offense. Jasmine Bosco on that bench in foul trouble.
Hey, think about it. 37 first-half points for Villanova. That's only 14 shy of what UConn gives up per game. Message received. Beckers. He's contested by Burke.
And that's really all you can do right now against Paige Beckers is try to make things as difficult as you can, switch screens, contest her look, send her a crowd. Still yet to score here in the second half for Paige.
That was only her first field goal attempt in the second half. Carter to the corner, tough pass. Shot clock is at 8. Here's Burke, she lost it. Carter with the steal and a foul on Burke. And Maddie Burke just committed her 4th foul.
And this is where frustration can sometimes play a part in the game. Maddie Burke knew right away that she compounded her mistake. She gives it up to Fudd, immediately makes a silly foul, 45 feet away from the basket, and now she too has to go to the bench with 4 fouls.
Fudd knocks down the first. Tough for Villanova. 2 of their top 3 in some major foul trouble. And now Fudd with 11, so that UConn big 3 has combined for 47.
And Bosco and Burke now on the bench, they combined for 40 yesterday in the quarterfinals, and they are sidelined with 4 fouls apiece.
The Huskies have held the Cats to 0 of 8 from the field in this third quarter. It has been a defensive clinic. Oriel. Brady with the board. She swarmed, gave it up, and a foul.
And good awareness, recognition here, some pressure defense from Ryan Allen and Caitlin Oriel. And Allen comes up with it to get a trip to the free throw line.
Ryan Allen, a junior, transferred in from Vanderbilt. Pennsylvania kid, won a Philadelphia Catholic League championship in high school. Really like her upside. Coming back next year, want to grow it even more. This Villanova program has a real bright future if they can have roster continuity, KS.
Yeah, there is a lot of talent, and all starting with Weber and Bosco, young players.
Beckers took a bump. Gino Oriema was asking for a foul. Beckers is off. Still scoreless in the second half. Weber to Carter. Carter is fouled by Brady. Back to the line.
Villanova still in search of their first field goal of the second half. They've had a couple of free throws. They're going to get a couple more here from Danae Carter, who's nice and aggressive, taking that contact across the lane.
All 5 of their points in the third quarter coming from the free throw line. Carter hitting both. And Shade will come back in for Brady. This is where a lot of people believe that UConn can be really dangerous. They go a little bit smaller, Kim. How do you see it?
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting look. They don't really have like a dominant big that they've established yet. Alalfi brings the size, but she's not giving them great point production. Sarah Strong playing the 5 right now. Good look at it.
Strong showing her versatility and taking the foul. Well, we had a great conversation with Gino Oriema yesterday about Sarah Strong. And Gino joked with us that after they won the Big East regular season title against Creighton, because you asked, is she still a freshman? Like, does she still have those human moments that a freshman would have? She looks at Gino and goes, wow, we get t-shirts. He goes, yeah, you do. And she goes, well, okay, all right, this is, we get other t-shirts for other championships. He goes, yeah, that's the deal here. Get with the picture, get with the program. That's what we do at UConn. We fill the drawers with championship shirts.
The t-shirt collection for UConn players has to be through the roof. But I think he had to explain to her the difference between a regular season championship, and they would get a second t-shirt if they get the job done here.
Look at Strong with the active hand. She has just surged. Guarding Carter. Never stopped. Shot clock turned off here. What a defensive clinic by the Huskies. Villanova without a made field goal in the third quarter. It's Arnold. Becker, Shade, Strong, and Fudd. 8 seconds. Bud with 5. An offensive foul is called. It's on Shade.
Frustrating. Gino, not too pleased. Let's see if he has a case. I think that was sold a little bit from Villanova.
4.3 for the Wildcats. Weber from half court. That does it for quarter number 3. UConn
which opened Sarah Strong on the perimeter. That was a beautiful sequence as Paige Becker's mom looks on with a nice big smile. What's not to love, although her daughter hasn't scored yet here in the second half. I'm sure a lot of UConn fans and coaches would like to see that, but there's another assist.
Sure is to Sarah Strong. Gives Beckers her 6th dish. Paige's mom, Amy, her dad, Bob. Paige is one of 4, 2 brothers, Ryan and Drew, 1 sister, Lauren. She's so family-rooted, and she knows her Minnesota roots as well. She's organized a bunch of clinics and different things for the community, giving back to everybody. Kim, and that's just it. Gino Auriemma told us, if anything, sometimes she's so worried about what everybody's thinking about with her. As a player in person, he says, hey, all that stuff is great, but it doesn't matter. Just do your thing, because who you are is the best.
Yeah, I mean, in this day of college basketball, this day and age, there's so much going on outside of the lines. So I think we've seen that focus from here to open up the first 2 games of this tournament. She's really looked incredibly locked in.
KK Arnold short, and back to Villanova. Just joining us, Big East semifinal number 1, UConn and Villanova, first of 2 on Fox, and Allison has more on Paige Beckers.
Well, and you know, with Paige battling through the injuries and everything she's gone through, she said what she's most proud of is that she's never wavered in her values. And she gives all the credit to the people around her, the family that you mentioned. And she said, I know that I would not be here if it wasn't for all that everyone around me has invested in me. She said, I never want to take any of that for granted. And I just want to continue to work hard and reward all those people that have believed in me from the beginning.
That is awesome. A rejection by Strong to force a shot clock violation.
Just looking at this, ooh, Paige taking a little bit of a hit from Sarah Strong. Looks like she's all good, still out there. That's a physical teammate to have run into you.
It sure is. Appears to be all right. Still hunting her first points of the second half. She's A-OK. 23 for Beckers.
Just more gorgeous execution. So simple there. Screen and roll action between Sarah Strong, Paige Beckers. Defender chases behind. Perfectly read, as we've come to expect from Paige Beckers.
Weber off for Villanova. Bosco and Burke in with 4 fouls. That really derailed their third quarter hopes because both players had to exit, committing their 4th.
Sarah Strong has 15 rebounds in this game.
A career high on a contact. Beckers short. And Bosco, she comes. Burke.
16 rebounds. I just saw such an innocent moment. There could have been an argument for a charge called against her. There was no whistle. She looked at the Villanova player and wanted to help her up.
Says, I'm not here without my sidekick. In a lot of ways, they move off one another, how they can motivate the players, how they drive this program, and Allison Williams has more.
What Gino Auriemma and Chris Daly have accomplished together is remarkable, and the fact that they've stayed together through all those years is equally as impressive. I talked to Chris Daly about that, and she joked that the key is separate vacations, and she said they also work because they are so similar, but also their strengths and weaknesses balance each other out. And she said, I laugh at myself because the same thing that bothered me about him 40 years ago still bugs me today. But those two have such a special working relationship and have really changed the game of college basketball, and they've done it side by side.
That's great stuff, Allison. And it speaks to, Chris has said this before, it speaks to Gino's humility. That on a t-shirt that pays tribute to his greatness, he wants to make sure that CD is part of that equation, Kim.
Yeah, that is really nice. Just incredible to think she never wanted to leave for a head coaching job. I'm sure the offers have or would roll in at any point. And she'd loved it here in stores with Gino.
Women's Basketball Hall of Famer, Chris Dane. 11 national titles, 23 Big East regular season titles. They get a 24th last week, 22 Big East tournament crowns. And they're on their way to booking a ticket, heading towards a 23rd. Our next semifinal, Creighton and Seton Hall. That will be quite the rivalry matchup for our other ticket to the championship game. Arnold travel. Kim, with what we're seeing from UConn today, particularly on the offensive end of the floor, where Beckers, Fudd, and Strong have combined for 57 points. See Coach Auriemma. How do you stop this team?
I don't know if you can, the way they're playing right now. I mean, just looking at the lines of these players. The freshman, Sarah Strong, 20 points and 16 rebounds, 4 assists. The list could continue. But then we also have to consider when they're just the 10th points of the half for Villanova.
Out of field goal make in the third quarter. Fudd comes off a screen. She's short. Goes back to the Wildcats. You and I were talking about in the break of just you have to pick your poison to a degree with how different the weapons are for this Connecticut team.
Yeah, well, they're so well-oiled offensively in how they execute that.
Allen with 10 points. Villanova has 3 in double figures. Malfi couldn't reel it in, but it'll stay with UConn. And that gives us a chance to look at Connecticut's resume. They're at number 1 in the net. Many projections, they're on the 2 line.
Yeah, I mean, pretty impressive here. I think the road win at South Carolina really helped bump them up a little bit. But we're seeing some crazy things happen in these conference tournaments. We saw Duke take down NC State this afternoon. I know Big Ten, SEC going on today as well. So there could still be some shakeups on these 1 and 2 lines.
USC, UCLA in the Big Ten championship game. You've been a part of those matchups this year. That is just amazing what has happened out in Hollywood with those two teams.
Yeah, it's the third meeting today. Going to be really interesting to see if UCLA can finally find a way to contain Juju Lundgren.
And think about it, Texas and South Carolina are in the SEC final going on right now. More to come on that. But those are the 4 teams that are on many 1-seed projections. So we'll see what the committee thinks when it's all said and done. UConn still floated around. Maybe get that 4th number 1. Needless to say, they're right in line. Be no worse than a 5th or 6th overall seed. They're in great territory.
They're certainly playing like a number 1 seed right now, regardless of what the number ends up being.
That's just it. And look, you beat South Carolina by close to 30 points on their home floor. That sent a message to...
Unselfish pass after unselfish pass to find the best shot, a wide open 3, and the freshman Zabel knocks it down. Let's look back at this beautiful possession, which features a lot of reserves in the game right now. KK Arnold gets in the paint, out to Chen. Shane gets in the paint, out to Zabel. Nothing but the bottom of the net. Paige Beckers approves. That just sums up the season that UConn is having, the depth that they are having, and the offensive outbursts that we could see from them on any given night.
21.3 assists per game as Caroline Ducharme checks in. Weber is short. And if you don't know, Ducharme had just returned to UConn a couple weeks back, had not played in the game since November of 2023. Dealt with concussion issues and neck injury. She scored her first point since being back yesterday. A fan favorite here for all she's been through. She's got the ball right now. Tangled up. It'll go back to Villanova. What a day for Sarah Strong.
She has had a tremendous line. She had a career high in rebounds yesterday. She bested that today. 20 points, 16 rebounds. She's been a force on the interior, but we have to keep the whole line going. 4 assists, 2 blocks, and 3 steals for Sarah Strong. She's a freshman in her first postseason, putting up a line like that.
Over 500 points as a freshman. How about 275 rebounds? That's second among all freshmen in the country. Peyton Samuels attacks and is off. Okay, that's not going to have the way Villanova would have liked. What can you say about the fight they put up today as Weber hoists?
Yeah, they showed a lot of positives, and they have a really strong core that's going to be really fun to continue to build around. It was a really encouraging opening 20 minutes. They were right there. Jasmine Bosco, one of the best freshmen in the country. Maddie Weber, one of the best sophomores in this league.
You lose Christina Dalsey to the portal as well. Of course, life after Maddie Segrist, who graduated now a couple years back, and she's done a really remarkable job.
Yeah, I mean, you could see just how hard this team is playing, how connected they play, and when things are going well, it's a really talented offensive team.
Edmondson can't answer. Back to the Huskies. You can tell how much they adore Caroline Ducharme.
Caroline Ducharme, as you mentioned, just returned recently from a myriad of different medical injuries and issues. She hadn't played since November 2023. She scored her first points yesterday. She gets her first 3 in the return today, and this crowd absolutely loved it, as did the UConn bench.
10 on the shot clock. As we hit the final minute here, a foul on El Alfi. Off of Villanova. It won't be over because they could play in the WBIT and try to parlay that into an off-season and a strong next season. A team that really should get picked near the top of the Big East if they can keep their roster intact.
Without a doubt, they made an appearance in the WIP championship last season. If they could add a really solid post presence inside to go along with Bosco, the way she's able to get teammates the ball, I'm sure Denise Dillon has the wheels turning for the off-season, even though there's still a lot of hoops to play.
Absolutely. We talked to her about NIL, the portal, everything that's happening today, Kim, which you know is such a natural part of the discussion. And she said, look, at Villanova, the standard is to win at a high level. We want to be at the top of this league. And that's their plan, that's their strategy. And they've got a couple of bright stars in Bosco and Weber. Green scoring her first point of the game. This was a 10-point game at halftime. But UConn turned it up defensively. They held Villanova without a field goal make. And the Huskies just roll. Was fantastic with 23 points and 6 assists. But the new wave and the future of UConn basketball, Sarah Strong, 20 points, 16 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks. We are out of words on our stat book because that's how good. They were picked 6th in the Big East. You lose Lucy Olson to Iowa. You lose Christina Dalsey to the portal as well. Of course, life after Maddie Segrist, who graduated now a couple years back, and she's done a really remarkable job.
Yeah, I mean, you could see just how hard this team is playing, how connected they play, and when things are going well, it's a really talented offensive group.
Edmondson can't answer. Back to the Huskies. You can tell how much they adore Caroline Duchamp.
Caroline returned recently from a myriad of different medical injuries and issues. She hadn't played since November 2023. She scored her first points yesterday. She gets her first 3 in the return today, and this crowd absolutely loved it, as did the UConn bench.
10 on the shot clock. As we've hit the final minute here, a foul on El Alfi. Off of Villanova. It won't be over because they can play in the WBIT and try to parlay that into an off season and a strong next season. A team that really should get picked near the top of the Big East if they can keep their roster intact.
Without a doubt, they made an appearance in the WIP championship last season. They could add a really solid post presence inside to go along with Bosco, the way she's able to get teammates the ball. I'm sure Denise Dillon has the wheels turning for the off-season, even though there's still a lot of hoops to play.
Absolutely. We talked to her about NIL and the portal, everything that's happening today, Kim, which you know is such a natural part of the discussion. And she said, look, at Villanova, the standard is to win at a high level. We want to be at the top of this league. And that's their plan, that's their strategy. And they've got a couple of bright stars in Bosco and Weber. Green scoring her first point of the game. This was a 10-point game at halftime. But UConn turned it up defensively. They held Villanova without a field goal make. And the Huskies just roll.
Không gửi được. Thế nhỉ? Được rồi. Căng luôn. Rõ lắm, bị bản quyền nữa thì vỡ mồm. Cứt rồi. Mở bé tí nữa Long ơi. À Minh ơi. Mở bé được tí nữa không? Hả? Mở bé đi, tao quay xong rồi tao bảo. Nặng. Nặng thế, 600 700 mấy cơ à?
Mày sờ kỹ mà đi.
Kinh nhỉ.
Mày cứ sờ kỹ mọi người. Mày cứ sờ kỹ đấy. Nước đâu với nước đây à? Tao biết được à? Tao chịu, tao để nước đâu mà đổ là.